So yeah, we were wrong about Justin Fields. Early October, we made a video about Justin Fields being bad because, let's be real, at the time, he did suck. After a rough rookie season, Fields looked bad to start this year, but he's really turned it up this last month. All of a sudden, Justin Fields looks like the guy that the Chicago Bears hoped he could be. Now, there's still a long way to go, but Justin Fields is developing fast. Justin Fields has really been the tale of two halves this season. Week 1 through 6, Fields only completed 54.8% of his passes for 869 yards and 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. An absolutely horrible start, and he also went 2-4 over the stretch. Now, Fields is only 1-4 since, but all of a sudden, his numbers pop off the page. 64.1 completion percentage, 620 yards, and 8 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. A huge improvement. The last 4 weeks, starting with a win over the Patriots, Justin Fields has graded out as the 19th best passer in the league among quarterbacks that have played at least 50% of dropbacks. Not amazing, I know, but it is much improved from earlier in the season. He graded out at 29 through the first 6 weeks. That was by far the worst among every passer. For comparison, Baker Mayfield was second worst and graded out at 53.3. Fields was graded out at 46.3. His adjusted completion percentage, taking into account passes on target or drops, was the worst in the league through 6 weeks too, at 65.1%. In the last 4 weeks, he's 16th at 74.7%. It's very evident that he's dramatically improved as a passer, and it's shown up on both the stat sheet and on film. I think likely the best throw from Fields in the pros came on Sunday. Fourth quarter, pocket collapses, and he rolls out full speed, and on the run, puts the ball 40 yards downfield right to Cole Kmet's back shoulder. Unfortunately, it was an incomplete pass. But if that's a testament to what Fields can do with his arm, he's in really good shape. Justin Fields has been a much improved rusher over the last 4 weeks too. He was already one of the better mobile quarterbacks in the league though. Fields graded out at 6th best through 7 weeks at 79.7. But still, he has gotten much better since week 7. He's the second best only behind Josh Allen and is currently graded out at 92.1. Fields has just been a much improved rusher in just about every facet. He had 54 rushes in the first 6 weeks that went for 282 yards and a touchdown. Since week 7, Fields has rushed 50 times for 467 yards and 5 touchdowns. A crazy difference. Probably the most impressive run from Fields this year was in week 9 against Miami. He drops back and the pocket starts to collapse, and not only does he step up, but he pump fakes before splitting a few defenders and getting into the open field before winning a foot race. A very impressive showcase of his legs that we oddly didn't get to see too much of at Ohio State. Fields was fantastic in Columbus, but it was mostly through the air. Maybe it was because his wideouts always had a crazy amount of separation, but we got to see flashes, but never the full scale of what he could do with his legs. He only had about 1,100 rushing yards in 3 years in college. He was a mobile quarterback, but the offense wasn't necessarily designed around that. On the other hand, he passed for 5,700 yards in college. There was no question of what kind of player he was, but he had that rushing potential, and it's really been evident in Chicago. It is so evident that the Matt Nagy regime did not play to his strengths. The lack of designed rollouts or plays specifically designed to play to the mobility of Justin Fields was disappointing and borderline incompetent. Finally, the Bears moved on from Nagy after 4 years and hired Matt Eberflus. Chicago also fired general manager Ryan Pace and replaced him with Ryan Poles. It is essentially an entirely new staff in the Windy City, and I have to imagine that the #1 goal for them is simple: develop Justin Fields. The stat sheet did not look pretty for Justin Fields year 1. He went 2-8 in starts and only completed 58.9% of passes for 1,870 yards and 7 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. On the ground, Fields rushed for 420 yards and 2 touchdowns on 72 carries. Fields definitely had his struggles his rookie year. He graded out at 30 of 38 of all quarterbacks that took at least 20% of dropbacks at 60.8. His adjusted completion percentage was just 66.9%, which was the worst in the league other than Mike Glennon. He really wasn't used great in the run game and graded out as just the 16th best rusher at 72.3. How Fields graded out worse than Tom Brady and Carson Wentz is truly just a testament to how bad the Bears set up Fields. Justin Fields has been much improved this season, but there's still one big elephant in the room. The Bears are bad. Chicago has lost its last 3 and is 3-7. The Bears were 2-1 to start the year. Chicago surprisingly beat San Francisco week 1 and took down a very bad Texans team 2 weeks later. Since, it's been pretty rough outside of a Monday Night Football dub against the Patriots that really did spark this recent Justin Fields success. But that doesn't necessarily mean the team has had success. The development of Justin Fields is the most important thing for Chicago this season, and that's trending in the right direction. But that doesn't change the fact that the Bears have one of, if not the worst roster in the league. I will say, we were very hard on the Bears offensive line before the season. PFF had projected them to be the second worst in the league, and on paper, it looked like a terrible unit. But Chicago has actually been pretty good. PFF just ranked them at 16th in the league ahead of week 11. That's top half of the league, so there have been a lot of improvements there. They have been very good at run blocking. Chicago is rated out 3rd best this season, and that has definitely been the strength of the line. The pass blocking has been solid though, getting ranked 16th best in the league. The Bears definitely feel good about their 1-2 punch in the backfield with David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. Montgomery has 434 yards and 2 scores on 115 carries. He's currently ranked as the 44th best back. Meanwhile, Khalil Herbert has rushed for 643 yards and 4 touchdowns on 108 touches. He's graded out as the 26th best back. Montgomery has been injured here and there, and Herbert was just placed on IR. There are some issues, but when healthy, the Bears have 2 great rushers. Pass catching has been the biggest problem for Chicago. Just to touch on tight end before wideouts though, I like Cole Kmet. He had a very slow start to the year, but he does have 5 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks and 274 yards on 23 catches this year. He hasn't graded out great, 23rd in the league, but I think he does have some promise. Now on to wide receivers. It's bad. Darnell Mooney is the only wide receiver rated top 50 at 47, and he's definitely been better. But I did have so much excitement for him this season, and he only has 36 receptions for 464 yards and a touchdown currently. The only other wideout in the top 100 is Equanimous St. Brown, who is 92nd and only has 11 catches for 164 yards and a single touchdown. Like I said, the wide receiver core hasn't been great. The Bears did make a move at the trade deadline to put some more talent around Justin Fields, trading for Chase Claypool for a 2nd round pick. We haven't seen Claypool really make an impact yet, but it is still early. Chicago is going to spend a lot of money this offseason, like a lot. The Bears are projected to have $110.8 million in cap room. That's literally insane. The second most cap room is the Falcons with just $61.6 million. The Bears are set up for a huge spending spree to surround Justin Fields with high-end talent, and that will truly give us an idea of just how good he can be. Sometimes you just have to admit when you're wrong, and there is still a long time to go in the career of Justin Fields. But what he's done in the last month has proven a lot of people wrong, including us. There's a long way to go in his development, but there are some flashes of how good of a player he could become. Hopefully, the Bears can surround him with some talent this offseason, and maybe a big breakout year will be on the horizon. I definitely hope to see Justin Fields succeed. He's a lot of fun to watch, and he absolutely has the athletic ability to be good. Justin Fields looks like a young developing prospect with a bright future, a complete contrast from 2 months ago.